Excellent. Hey, happy Friday, everybody. Mike Brenhaug here with Lead Squeezers. And it's the last webinar of 2021. 2021 is coming to an end here. And so this is part two of a webinar series about how to set goals, how to get highly focused, and really how to become unstoppable in 2022. Now is the time to do your planning, get ready. You don't want to start in January, right? You don't want to start in January kind of fumbling around or floundering, trying to figure out what you're going to do. You want to hit the ground running. I'll tell you, I'm already prepared. So come January 3rd, I'm hitting the ground running. I have, fresh leads, organized my leads, took some of my old leads and consolidated them, scrubbed them, added some old leads that I had from 2 or 3 years ago. And, I'm going to do a combination of things of, trying to revive some of those old leads, if you will. And we've got a lot of new stuff with Lead Squeezers as well. So we're truly ready to hit the ground running. So I'm going to share with you today how to get highly focused and achieve big results. Today, what I'm going to share with you along the lines is sharing some stories with you. Stories I find are very inspiring. When you're an entrepreneur, especially an independent sales professional, you can feel like you're going it alone, right? It can be lonely, and oftentimes you can become discouraged. And those challenges that you experience along the way, for some people, it'll take them out altogether. But I'm going to share some stories with you of people that persevered. I think you'll find it inspiring because going into 2022, I'll tell you, nobody likes challenges. But truly, I appreciate the challenges because I learn from those challenges, right? I learn from my mistakes. I'm not afraid to make mistakes. I'm not perfect. I know I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. And I'm okay with that because I know that if I just get out there and try, and if it doesn't work, I'll try a different way, or I'll reach out to somebody that can help me. So that's always the approach that I, take. But anyways, just to confirm, you should be able to see my screen, get highly focused and achieve big results. If you can't, please drop a little note in the chat box if you can't see that. And we're going to go ahead and get rolling here. I'm going to pull up my other screen so I can see it. There we are. Here we go. So let's jump into this. Check this out. 92%. That's right. And I didn't make this up. This is stuff that's out there from all kinds of surveys and studies that have been done. 92% of people will fail to reach their goals. Wow, think about that for a minute. And then if you think about the number of self-help books, seminars, DVDs, CDs, or MP3s, MP4s, YouTube, you look at all the stuff out there about self-help. And 92% of people will fail to reach their goals. Man, why is that with all the information out there, right? And it comes down to this. It comes down to entrepreneurs or people achieving their goals or having a goal that they want to reach is having the ability to focus on the right things, kind of what we talked about last week, and getting results, modifying your actions and reviewing your goals on a regular basis so that you can kind of dial them in or fine tune them because it's truly a journey. And unfortunately, many people will give up right in the heat of the battle, so to speak, because they think it becomes too difficult, becomes uncomfortable, becomes frustrating. I get it. I've experienced that, right? And nobody likes frustration. But you can control the frustration. And if you understand it, if you understand how your mind works, your mind literally will play games with you, which is why I wrote that book, WTF, right? That's a big mind game. But realizing that those negative moments, like what I shared with you last week, those that it cause you to say WTF, those WTF moments, there's different meanings for that. And when you can realize that and change the definition of that from what the F to where's the focus or when the future, it's extremely powerful and empowering for you. And it gives you the ability to control your mindset and control the outcome. All right. So think about this. 92% of people will fail to reach their goals. All right. Comes down to focus, comes down to perseverance, all those other things. But I'm going to share with you some stories here. All right. Alex and Old. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this. I don't know if it was on Netflix or Prime. I don't know where I saw it, but about a year ago, I watched this great documentary. Now, imagine this. This is the first guy to free climb El Capitan in Yosemite. Free climb. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. I mean, that takes, some cojones there to do that. I wouldn't have, well, first of all, I'm not trained to do that, but I got to be honest, I don't know if I have the guts to be able to do that. To me, that is fearful. The reason I share this first story, give it to this guy, that he was able to accomplish that. But when you're an entrepreneur, we're not talking about taking risk like Alex, right? We're not talking about free climbing Yosemite without, the safety of a harness and the ropes and the gear and everything, right? It's on YouTube, John. Okay, YouTube. Yeah, it's great. So we're not talking about that, which is why I share this story, as amazing as it is. We're not talking about that. What is the biggest fear that we have as entrepreneurs? Well, fear of losing, fear of maybe, going bankrupt because you're starting a venture, right? That's legitimate fear. Fear of calling, fear of rejection, fear of looking stupid, right? These are some emotional things that we deal with as entrepreneurs and sales agents. But none of that compares, even if you bundle it all together, none of it compares to what Alex has done here to free climb Yosemite. All right. So as you're thinking about this and you're thinking about your plans for 2022, be thinking about those barriers that held you back in 2021. And we talked about that a little bit last week, right? When you can identify the barriers, then you can remove them. Oftentimes it's fear related. Yeah, for some people, there might be a financial hurdle in this business. Maybe at the moment, right now, maybe you don't have the budget to invest in leads or do the marketing or whatever it may be that you want to do, you think that believe is going to allow you to grow. There's solutions around that. There's stepping stones. And if you want it bad enough, you will figure out a way, honestly. And I know you've probably heard that before, but it is so true. When you want it bad enough, you will figure out a way to accomplish that. But let's move on to the next story here. Lindsay Sterling. Now, this is someone you may not have ever heard of. I first heard of Lindsay Sterling probably about 5 or 6 years ago, before she's as popular as she is today. And I was doing a lot of traveling at the moment. And when I get on a plane, one of the things I like to do is just turn some music on, put my headphones on, and be in my own little world. And I just absolutely fell in love with her music. She's a violinist. If you have not listened to her or seen her on YouTube, go out to YouTube. She's absolutely amazing. But her story is even more amazing when you see how talented she is. She was rejected by America's Got Talent, right? And today she has over 12 million YouTube followers, probably more than that, but recorded a Peter Pan song for Disney. And she has a net worth of 16 to 20 million. And here's somebody that was rejected by America's Got Talent. And she doesn't have a lot of formal training, kind of self-taught, on how to dance and how to play the violin. And you just go out there and she's absolutely amazing. So I look at that with all the rejections and the challenges that she endured. And, here you think when she auditioned for America's Got Talent, she was probably thinking, okay, this is it, right? And then she gets rejected. For a lot of people, they would have just, they would give up. They would give up and say, okay, well, maybe I don't have what it takes. But not Lindsay. She stuck with it. She persevered. And where does that perseverance come from? So if you were on the call last week and you remember me talking about that core of success, that I believe that Thomas Edison have, that core of success, right? It's where you have perfect alignment with your future, which is your goals, your fuel, which is your vision, your passion, your core value, and your beliefs, right? More of those soft skills. And then the third is your focus, your actions. When you have perfect alignment and you have clarity around all three of those, then you operate from a place of what I call the core of success. And that's what allows you to have the passion, that allows you to have, that drive and, purpose and perseverance, all those things to push through. So when you get rejected, you're not being taken out by someone or an experience or what someone has said. You continue to push forward. And certainly Lindsay Sterling, had that. She embraced that. Yeah. Let's see. Next one, Fred Smith. This is one, I love this story. Here in Orange County, California, where I'm located, I'll never forget, a few years back, this was probably about 8 or 9 years ago. And at the time, I was involved with our local Chamber of Commerce. And here in our area, we have a Del Taco corporate headquarters. One of the key executives at Del Taco worked for Fred Smith. She was the right-hand person, I think executive admin for Fred Smith when he was getting started. Now she's a top dog over at Del Taco. Anyways, long story short, she shared an amazing story about Fred Smith and the challenges that he had. Now, many of you have probably heard the regular story that is shared, which is, his professor rejected his business plan, said it would never work, right? Rejected it. It's a terrible plan. It's not going to work. Well, look where he's at today. But more importantly, what she shared, which is interesting, which you don't hear as much of, is that there were several times when he literally was in FedEx at the time, the early stage, was on the brink of, going bankrupt and not making it. There was a couple times, two events that she shared. One is the banks were coming to repossess the planes. So he sent the planes up in the air so they couldn't get repossessed. I just found that funny. I mean, here he is trying to do everything, right? And then another time he didn't have enough money to meet payroll. And so he flew to Vegas and he put what the money he had, on roulette or whatever it was, and gambled the money, and fortunately won. And then he wire transferred money back to meet payroll. That's what entrepreneurs do. Entrepreneurs live on the edge, right? They're riding the rails. But see, for Fred, he wasn't worried, I'm sure, at that point. He's on the brink, he's riding the rails. Bankruptcy, going belly up, to him, that wasn't a fear. For him, failure was not an option. He was going for broke, so to speak, right? I believe that he had that mentality, and I have a lot of respect for him, because you look at where FedEx is today, right? You're going to experience challenges. You have to be able to push through. It builds character. It truly does. And, if you look at Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, some of those other entrepreneurs, think about the challenges, that they've had to go through. But I love stories like this, because for me, it's very inspiring, especially at this time of year when we're going to 2022, because you're going to run into some challenges. You will. Okay. No one is immune from challenges. It is going to happen. It's how you respond or react to those challenges that will determine your outcome. Let's take a look at another one. This gentleman here, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with David Barnett, but he's the founder of Pop Sockets, 60 failed prototypes. And I got a little typo there, as you can see, and going broke. But today he has a net worth of 500 million. So with his story, these little pop sockets, these are the little things that go on your cell phone, right? Stick to your cell phone to allow you to, hold that. And He started in 2012. All right. And he first had tried to create a cell phone case before he discovered the little pop sockets here. But the problem with the cell phone case is, the shapes and sizes are changing all the time. How do you stay ahead of that? I mean, think about the manufacturing, the engineering for all the different models and types, and then, how much do you inventory and the different colors, everything. It's just the market was changing too fast for him to make that model work for him. So anyways, he almost went broke trying to just do regular cell phone cases. Long story short, he didn't give up and went back to the drawing board. And that's when this little idea, these little pop sockets came up. And, today I sold over, 35, 40 million units, and he's worth over 500 million, right? Again, here's somebody that was riding the rails on the brink, could have given up at any point in time because, that didn't work. Spent all my money, but he continued to persevere. Pretty cool story. Let's take a look at another one. This one, I'm sure you probably are familiar with, probably seen this guy in some TV ads, right? James Dyson, founder and inventor of the Dyson vacuum. I mean, it's a high quality vacuum. But it wasn't without failures. Definitely was not without failures. Look at this. He had over 5,000 prototypes that were rejected. Think about that. I got to be honest. I don't know if I could endure, 5,000 failed prototypes. Think about that. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of engineering, a lot of brain power, a lot of late nights. But when you look at that, how much did he learn from those prototypes, those 5,000? He learned several ways on how not to do it or how to make something better, which is why the Dyson vacuum, I mean, it's a high quality, it's a great vacuum. And today, his company is worth over 5.2 billion. So many people would have taken those failures, they would have never made it to 5,000. But he learned a lot. I mean, a heck of a lot from those failures and the testing, and just continued to persevere, continued to invest more money, right? Even though when, he was being rejected. Let's take a look at another one. Harry Potter. This is a great story, right? Think about this. J.K. Rowling, author of all the Harry Potter books, and then the very successful that went on to Harry Potter movies. She was broke, divorced, single mom. What was she to do? And she had a gift of writing, and this is in the early 90s. She submitted her first book, to over 12 major publishing companies, and they all told her, 12 major publishing companies all told her that nobody was interested in wizards and witches, right? Well, today with, 11 or 12 published novels, 10 movies, she's worth over 25 billion with a B. Wow, that is amazing. From a broke, divorced, single mom that was rejected by 12 major publishers. See, here's the deal. When you're talking to the so-called experts, right? They are experts. They're experienced in that area, but they're not always right. They're not always right. If they're always right, then you wouldn't have stories like J.K. Rowling and some of these other stories, okay? You wouldn't have, and like last week when I talked about the experts, Blockbuster Video, the taxi industry. We'll look at Netflix, right? Those experts at Blockbuster Video that thought that they were experts in the video market. Well, they weren't experts today, right? Because where are they? They're gone. See, what happens when you become the so-called expert, something else happens. You become protective of what you currently have. The revenue, the business model, that is your baby and you protect it. And as such, you're reluctant to be adaptive to change. You're reluctant to look at new things because you're fearful of what it may do to your business model. It may disrupt your business model and cause you to lose revenue, especially for all these publicly traded companies, right? They have shareholders that they're obligated to. And one of the things that I love about Elon Musk, I'll tell you, that guy he simply just doesn't care. He's living on the edge. He's not afraid of anything. He's not afraid to lay it on the line and go for broke, right? You've seen that, but look at all the businesses that he started. Extremely successful, extremely successful. But success, where I'm going with this, as you become successful, there's another type of fear. When you start out, you may have a certain type of fear, like let's say in sales, fear of cold calling. You might have fear of losing your money on investing in getting the business going or investing in leads or whatever it may be. There's that kind of fear, right? Fear of not being able to make it. But then when you become successful, and as some of these other companies, your fear is protecting what you have, fear of disrupting the status quo. And that's how you become the Blockbuster Video or the taxi industry. So as you start to have success, always be looking and staying on the forefront of either technology or industry trends. That's why you need to be plugged in. And don't be afraid to embrace change, because otherwise you'll get left behind. And you don't want that to happen. And you don't want to have to start over either. Let's take a look at another one here. And then I'm going to jump in. I'm going to share some actual tools with you. But I really wanted you coming away from this webinar really inspired. Take a look at this. Damon John, founder of FUBU Clothing Company. First business failed. You've probably seen him as a judge and investor on Shark Tank. Net worth over $6 billion. All right. $6 billion. That's huge. And he's just a kid from Queens, New York. Never went to college. Worked as a waiter at Red Lobster, actually, while he was trying to start a business on the side. And his first business was buying wrecked cars and, reselling, and that completely failed. And he was inspired by hip hop stars, all right, and their clothing. So he started to make his own clothes and kind of emulate what the hip hop stars. Fast forward today, his clothing empire, business venture, it's grown to over a net worth of $6 billion. And now you see him on Shark Tank. All right. Kid from Queens, New York, no college, and college is right for some people, but it's not for others. Thing is, one of the things that college won't teach or won't give is passion and purpose, right? How do you teach that? You can't. You either have it or you don't. And even though for some that might not think that college is important, I'll tell you what's important. Education is important. I believe that people should be self-learners. I think they should embrace, learning on their own. Everything I do, I'm always learning. I enjoy learning, and I enjoy sharing what I learn as well. So anyways, pretty cool stories here. Let's this might be the last one here, actually. Sorry, I got carried away on some of these stories. There's a lot of guys. Nick Woodman, founder and CEO of GoPro. Previous business failure, lost $3.9 million in investor money. So imagine that you have a business, you have all these investors, and you lost their money. Boy, how would that make you feel that you've lost $4 million in investors' money, and then trying to start a new business and get new investors? Probably going to be pretty challenging. Because they're like, hey, Nick, I already gave you some money. You lost it. What makes you think I'm going to, belly up with another check and invest? Well, anyways, long story short, after that, he went on a surfing trip and he had an idea for a camera that would capture the surfing moments, in the water, and which is GoPro. And so today, it's well over 2.25 billion from a failure, right? 2.25 billion. Think about that. That's huge, right? And everybody's familiar with GoPro now. They're just continuing to grow. So awesome. But anyways, let's move on. I'm going to skip through that one. All right, here we are. All right, so here's the deal. Success. So I shared all those stories with you. What did they all have in common? They never gave up. All self-made millionaires. They believed in themselves. They learned from their failures. They had big dreams, right? And they had an attitude that failure is not an option. They're going for broke. They're willing to lay it on the line and go for broke. So as you're thinking about 2022, what are your goals? And specifically, and what I shared last week is be thinking about your, what I call the OMG, your one major goal, that one major goal that will change everything in your life and business. See, part of the problem is we have too many goals. We spread ourselves too thin, and we can't give it the attention that it deserves. So I want to encourage you going into 2022 to have one major goal that literally will change your life and business. What is that? Is it a financial goal, a sales goal, whatever it is? Embrace that. And then that success dashboard that I shared with you last week that you should have received via email, bring some clarity to that, right? To that goal. Identify, when you want to achieve it. What are the right actions that will allow you, when you execute those actions, to move closer to your goal? Also, don't forget that top part of that success dashboard, what I call where's the fuel, to identify your purpose, your passion, your core values, your beliefs. Don't discount that. All right. That's your fuel, because if you're not playing to your strengths, then you're not going to have the energy. It's going to feel like work. All right. And what I do here, I work some long days, but I enjoy what I do. I never have a bad day. Sometimes I'm up early in the morning, sometimes I'm up till late at night, but I truly enjoy, what I do, because it doesn't feel like work. See, when it feels like work, it's exhausting and you become frustrated. But when you can tap into your fuel and you're using your strengths and you get excited about it, it doesn't feel like work. And that's why these top producers can have a boatload of appointments every week and just continue on and burn the midnight oil, because it doesn't feel like work for them, right? They absolutely love it. So hopefully that makes sense. But we're going to dive into a couple other things here. So I'm going to share with you 7 tips. I'm going to go through this quickly. What time is it? 10:30. Okay, so we've got some time here to jump into this here. All right, 7 tips that will deliver success. So what are they? All right, first one, have a dream and a goal that's worth pursuing. All right, here's the problem. Have something and have your dream, your goal, not someone else's. Part of the problem in insurance and real estate, when we're associated with these large groups, we hear all these ideas or these goals and these dreams, and sometimes we kind of tag on to somebody else's dream, but it's kind of like a drug. It wears off if it's not yours, if it doesn't have meaning. So you want to find your dream, your goal that is going to have real purpose, real meaning, and your why. Why is that important to you? What is it going to do for you? What is it going to do for your family? How's it going to make your life better? Be thinking about all of these. These are real conversations that you need to have with yourself. And unfortunately, most people don't. So when we go back to the very first slide where it said 92% of people will not achieve their goals. Why is that? They don't invest time thinking about what it is they really want to achieve. What is their why? What are you going to do? So we're in sales, right? I know for many people, and I've coached a lot of people, that it's a sales goal. It's a financial goal. I want to write, 300,000, $500,000 or $1 million in life premium, right? You want to make $500,000 or more, in the year. And in this business and in real estate, for our real estate agents and our financial advisor, that is absolutely possible, as you know, in this business. But you have to have a plan. You have to have what they call also, so you can measure and scale your business, you have to have KPIs. which are key performance indicators. If you haven't heard that term before, what are those key performance indicators? You also have to have your leading indicators, your lagging indicators, right? So for example, in order to have sales, what do you have to have first? You have to get in front of people. You have to have X number of appointments per week, let's say. What is it going to take to, let's say, have 20 appointments per week? How many fresh leads do you need to invest, right? Doesn't matter what type, but do you know what those numbers are? And then out of those fresh leads and those sources that you get those leads from, what is that investment per week? Because if that part doesn't happen, if you don't have fresh leads to call or fresh appointments that you're buying, you're not going to achieve your 20 appointments for the week. You're not going to achieve your goal. All right. And so you need to put in these actions and make sure they're in alignment. All right. But with that, it comes back to your why, and it comes back to your OMG. What is it? So if it's a financial goal or a sales goal, and if it's a $500,000, let's say $500,000, what is that going to do for you? How's that going to make your life better? Can you really get fired up about it? And do you believe it? Because if you don't believe that you can do a $500,000, then what is the number that you do believe? Is it 100,000? Is it 250,000? Go with the number that you can believe, because if you can't believe in that dream or that goal, then it's going to create fear. It's going to create a lack of confidence. All right. So hopefully all that makes sense. 2, align your goals with your actions. Now that you have your goals, you absolutely have to align your goals with your actions. All right. So what does that mean? Well, you have a goal, just like what I talked about on the previous slide a little bit here. How many leads, how many appointments do you need to have for the week? How many leads do you need to buy, right? How many phone calls or dials do you need to make to get the number of appointments? How many days a week are you going to be in the field, either door knocking or meeting with people? How much money do you need to invest in marketing? Is there an appointment setter? What other resources do you need? You need to align your goals with actions, and those are the right actions. Okay, think about this. The right actions that are going to get you results. So here's an easy way to do it. If you take out a sheet of paper and you simply, down that sheet of paper, down the middle, just draw a line. On the left-hand side, I want you to write, and don't do this right now, but after the call, write down those things that only you can do. And what are those things? Well, you're the licensed agent, for example, whether it's life or real estate, you're the one that has to meet with the client. But what can you outsource? You can outsource dialing and appointment setting, and you can put that over on the right-hand side. And this will allow you to hire somebody to book as many appointments as you can, and you can handle for the week. And this is how the top producers do it. And that way they can run 20, 30, 40 appointments a week, right? But if you're spending 2 or 3 days dialing, then you have limited time to actually meet with people, especially when you consider the drive time. So, your goals have to be in alignment. So if you want to be that $500,000 producer, you have to think like a $500,000 producer, and you have to have the tools and the resources to do it. Because sometimes you just can't do it on your own. All right. But anyways, the success dashboard will absolutely help you gain clarity around your goals and create that alignment with your actions. Number 2, focus on high payoff activities. I kind of mentioned this briefly on the last one. Again, taking that sheet of paper, high payoff activities on the left side, those things that only you can do. On the right side, the low payoff activities. What are some of the other low payoff activities that agents get caught up on? Some of the admin work, okay? The bookkeeping, those type of things. That can be outsourced, totally outsourced, all that. And I encourage you to outsource it because it'll get done, and it'll get done better, typically, if you outsource it, all right? Focus on what you can do, focus on your strengths, your gifts, and so you can meet with more people. Super important, because oftentimes we will get caught up in the low payoff activities. We'll be busier than ever, but we never get the traction from our action. We never move forward. And then we become frustrated. And you know what happens when you become frustrated? Then burnout sets in. It starts to strip your confidence away. Fear sets in. All these other things happen because you're literally being sucked into that WTF vortex. So think about in 2022, what you can do to focus on the high payoff activities, and always reflect this past year in 2021. Did you achieve your goals? Are you happy with what you achieved in 2021? Did things go well for you? Do you want to repeat that or not repeat it? So, really reflect. Again, reflection is powerful when you can learn from it and then make the necessary adjustments. All right. Right here, this last bullet on this slide here, ask yourself what is robbing you of your valuable time. Now, one of the things that I'll tell you, and we're humans, and for me it's very easy for me to say yes. I always like to help people. Somebody asks me something, yes, I'll do it, right? But what happens is I find myself at certain times overcommitting myself and my time that I have, and then I end up robbing myself of my valuable time, which takes away from that time and energy that I could put towards my goals. So there are times where you want to be a little selfish and you say, hey, you know what? Meeting my goals is going to be better, not only for me, but for my family, for my friends. So ask yourself, what is robbing you of your valuable time? And there are going to be times where you're going to have to get good at saying no, so you can say yes to yourself. All right. And yes to your goals. All right. 4, don't be afraid to fail. That's it. Just don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to, look stupid. Don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to, go broke. Hey, life is short. Do you want to live in mediocrity, or, you're in this business, you're in sales. What draws people to sales is higher income, that higher income and the lifestyle. That's what people want. So don't be afraid to fail. That's why I shared all those stories. They were not afraid to fail, not afraid to fail. Okay. And then believe in yourself, believe and invest in yourself. The best investment is in yourself, right? You are the best investment. And if you don't believe in yourself right now, all right, at this moment, there's a couple things that you can do to kind of peel back the layers or the onions, so to speak. One, why don't you believe in yourself? Is it from past failures that has stripped your confidence away? So reflect on those, bring those to the surface. Think, what is it? What is that past failure? All right. How can you learn from it? See, and when you can look at those past failures, and if that's what's holding you back, and you can learn from that, now you're in control of it. It's going to empower you because you're embracing it. See, what happens if you try and forget about those past failures and push it away and just forget about it, you never really deal with it. All right. And you're not in control. You just kind of push it away and you never learn from it. And so that can be an underlying fear that can cause you reluctance to either picking up the phone or, taking a step out or a step of faith, so to speak. So really think about if you at the moment, if you don't feel like you can believe in yourself, what is it? Why is that? The other is your why not big enough, or your dream, your goal not big enough? Or is it so big and unrealistic for the next year that you don't really believe? Remember last week I was talking about a plan A and a plan B. When I coach individuals, they said, yeah, well, this is my plan A, but if that doesn't work out, I've got this plan B. Well, that tells me that their plan A is not the right plan at the moment. It's either too big or not the right goal right now. Because here's the deal. Why do you need a plan B, right? A backup plan if you truly believe, with beyond a shadow of a doubt in your plan A, right? So go back and adjust your plan A and believe in yourself. All right. And if you don't believe in yourself, who will? Right? Who will? I can tell you this. Again, I've coached a lot of people, and it's unbelievable when you put your mind to it. Everybody that is on this call, you have the opportunity to achieve whatever it is you want to achieve. The whole reason I shared all these stories with you is, look at, they're just average people. Now they're billionaires and millionaires, and they've learned a lot because they've endured a lot of challenges. But when they started out, they're just average people like you and I, and they're still average people. The difference is they went through, remember that chart that I showed you last week, the uninformed optimism, and then going through the valley of despair? They made it through the valley of despair, and then they're able to push through and hit informed optimism, and then reach their destination, their goal. Okay. 6, commit and never give up. Never give up. You know, here's the deal. As soon as you throw in the towel, you're giving up. You're accepting defeat, right? Say, hey, I couldn't make it work. It got a little too hot. The fire got a little too hot, got a little too frustrating. Whatever it may be, what you're feeling at the moment. And many people, when they reach this moment, they're totally sucked into that WTF vortex. All right. But never give up on your dream and your goal. Now, with that being said, do people change goals and oftentimes realize that, you know, maybe that goal wasn't that important, or it wasn't the right goal? All the time. One of the reasons, and I have here, you know, my success dashboard that I review every morning right here. Okay. And it's extremely powerful when you are reviewing your goals each and every day. It gives you just a few moments to be thinking about those goals on a deeper level. And what you're going to find is, one, it's going to allow you to dial in those goals, so they're going to be solid. But you're going to be looking at your sheet, and you're going to be looking at some of the goals, and you're going to think, you know what, that goal really isn't all that important to me. And this has happened to me. And I just simply cross it off. I don't have many goals. My goals are big, but they're not as many, goals, because there's a few things that going through this process over the years, that a few things that are just really, really important to me. All right. That I want to achieve and get to. And you'll become more mature in your goal setting and how you view your goals by using the success dashboard. And I'll be honest, when I put this together, the success dashboard back in 2008, 2009, I did it for myself because I was having challenges of focusing. And so it's a tool that I created for myself. Well, when I started coaching individuals, guess what? They had the same problem. So I started sharing the success dashboard, and then that's where, you know, the WTF book, you know, came from, is I'm sharing my experiences and what I'm doing to get results. But what I didn't realize at the time, and I think very few people know this, I think very few experts even realize this, that when you look at your goals each and every day, it is extremely powerful, because, one, your belief level goes up, but more importantly, you have much more clarity around those goals and if they're important or not important. All right. And you can eliminate the ones that are not important, and you can fine tune the ones that are important, and you can set building blocks or stones around the ones that are important to strengthen that foundation, like the why, the purpose, and the passion. Why is that important? What is it going to do for you? And it is just so powerful. So I really want to encourage you with that success dashboard that I emailed to you. Don't look at it as a simple little Excel sheet that you can, and a couple sheets of paper. Yeah, it is simple, but it's powerful. And if you don't do it, chances are it's not important to you. Your goal in 2022 and what you want to achieve is not important to you. All right, creating a winning mindset. This is the last one here. You have to. You are going to. Let's be honest. Life is going to happen. You're going to have challenges. I don't know what those are going to be. You're going to have some no-shows. You're going to have some cancellations. You're going to have some chargebacks. You're probably going to have some people swear at you, tell you to go pound sand. All those things are going to happen. That's life. That's being an adult, right? Out there in the world. That is going to happen. What are you going to do to create a winning mindset so you can be the best that you can be and push through? Here's some of my favorite books. Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. These are the same ones I mentioned last week. This is what I start everybody off on, these books, because it's just a good mix of books to build that foundation. There's so many other books that are my favorites also, but like Shad Helmstetter, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. That's actually one of my core books that I recommend to people as well. But these books will give you the tools and resources to really get you going. Now, don't read all 4 right at once. As I mentioned last week, the best way to read a book is a chapter a day. That's it. Chapter a day. Literally takes you 10, 15, 20 minutes to read a chapter. But over the course, you will read a book to a book and a half every month. And over the course of the year, 12 to 15 new books. And think about, at the end of 2022, if you read all these new books, new information that are inspiring, that are helping you bring clarity to who you are, to your goals, helping you stay focused, helping you be the best that you can be, how much more valuable would that be for you? To me, it's extremely powerful. And here's the thing, you see here, create a winning mindset. Mental toughness is a key trait. It absolutely is. You look at all those stories I shared. Second paragraph, don't listen to people or seek advice from people who are not striving to succeed. All right? Do not listen. If somebody's not striving to succeed, what do they have to say? What are they going to offer you? Honestly, what are they going to offer you? They're just going to be a bundle of just negative energy and naysayers. All right. And you're going to find them in all walks of life, in the business that you're in, colleagues, coworkers, friends, family. If people do not have goals and they're not striving to succeed in what they're doing, they don't necessarily have to be in the same business you're in, but if they're not striving to succeed, don't listen to them. Don't take advice. And then work every day on building a winning mindset so you are prepared for the challenges you'll encounter along the way. And those challenges, don't think of that as a negative. Don't say, well, Mike told me I'm going to have challenges. You are going to have challenges, but challenges are not a negative. They're a blessing, truly a blessing, because it's a learning opportunity. And if you look at it like I view it, then you're in control of it. And it's a learning opportunity. And just know it's going to happen. It's very real. If you think challenges aren't going to happen, then you're not being realistic, right? It's going to happen. And I look at them as blessings. That's it, because I can learn from that. I look at, James Dyson, right? Failed 5,000 prototypes. Wow. How many challenges was that? Unbelievable. But anyways, I could go on and on. Reading is so important. And if you take away nothing else, and if there's one thing that you had to do out of all this, because whether you don't have time or you're not quite there yet, I would say start reading first, because you could have your goals. You could use that little chart, the success dashboard, plot them all down. But if you're not feeding your mind, if you don't have a winning mindset and you're not striving to pursue your passion and your goals, then, it's all for nothing. They're just written goals. Okay. So start here. And that's it. With that core of success, I want to leave you with this image here. If there's no focus in what you're doing, you're not going to get results. You will become discouraged. Self-doubt will set in. You're going to feel overwhelmed. And when this happens, it strips your confidence away. And when your confidence is stripped away, that's where fear sets in. And then you just become even further frustrated and burn out. And that's what has you, WTF. And then you're calling me and saying, Mike, WTF, what is going on in my business? How come I can't get any traction from my action, right? And then I'm going to pull out the success dashboard. I'm going to share this webinar with you, say, let's go back to the basics. But you want to shift, you want to live from the core of success, where you have perfect alignment with your fuel. Those are your soft skills, right? Your passion, your purpose, your why, your core values and beliefs, with your future, which is your goals, and then your focus, which is those actions that you're going to execute regularly, your appointments per week, your dials, meeting with people, investing in leads, getting in front of people on a regular basis, closing deals. All right. And just literally, pedal to the metal. So success dashboard. Again, 92% of people won't do anything to write goals down or set clear actions, which is why 92% of them won't achieve their goals. Be different. Start here, and be the 8%, and you'll make it happen. So anyways, if you don't have the success dashboard, I emailed it out to everybody. If you don't, let me know. You can send us an email, scan this, fill the little form out. We'll get a notification. Want to make sure you have a copy of the success dashboard, and it's in an Excel file. If you want a copy of the book, it's out there on Amazon. If you have a Kindle, it's free. All right. If you want the printed version, it's probably 18 or 20 bucks, whatever Amazon is selling it for today. But you can, get that book. It's a great book. And after you have the success dashboard and you have a copy of the book and you've gone through that, if you want to have a one-on-one coaching call, let me know. I'm happy to go through, review your plan with you. And it's my gift to you after you have the success dashboard completed and after you've gone through the book, and that way you're ready. We'll do a one-on-one coaching call. So I want to make sure you're all set up for 2022. So anyways, we got just a few minutes. I'm going to open it up here for some questions. If you have any questions, feel free to drop it in the chat box there. I've got the chat box open here. Happy to answer any questions that you may have. You're welcome, John. I will. You too. Enjoy the holidays, and you be safe, and get ready for an amazing 2022. So I appreciate you guys being on the call. So I don't see any chats coming in. We got a couple minutes. I'm going to hang on just for a minute. If you have any questions as it relates, to what I've covered today, or if there's any questions you have on the CRM system, I'm happy to answer those as well. One of the things that I'll share with you that I've talked about on other webinars is a lot of agents, and I'm a life agent as well. But when I meet with someone, I'm not just a life insurance agent. When someone asks me what I do, basically I share with them, I protect people from financial hardship when life happens. For me, that is so much more powerful than just a life agent, right? So much more powerful, because at the moment when I'm meeting with someone, I'm the only person at that moment that can be honest with them and truly bring to them a solution to protect them and their family when life happens financially, and protect them from financial hardship. Think about that. That's extremely powerful. And I share that with you because when I go into a home or I'm on the phone with a client, I'm confident in what I'm doing and the partners that I have, the carrier partners. I mean, we have some amazing carriers. Think about it. Amazing carriers that partner with. We have all kinds of solutions and answers. So that gives me a lot of confidence knowing that I have that. Yes, you're right. And providing financial security for loved ones. Absolutely. So, okay. I don't see any other chats coming in here. So I'm going to let you guys go. For the next 2 weeks, there will not be a webinar. Hope you guys enjoy the holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. And, I'm looking forward to seeing some big things happen and hearing about your big goals that you have and what you're going to do to knock it out of the park in 2022. So have a great day and enjoy the holidays. Take care, guys. See ya.